Hi, this is Jill Vin, and I am the Mindset Catalyst. This morning, I was getting ready. I was looking for songs that would hype me up in terms of receiving and abundance and wealth. And the song that was part of a playlist from someone who had created on Spotify that came up for me was Rich Girl by Daryl Hall and John Oates.
You're a rich girl and you're gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money.
So it's one of those songs I've heard many times over my life, right? And never thought anything of it. But today I listened, and within a few seconds, I shut it off. It's because I started listening to it from the perspective of someone who's becoming so much more aware of the cultural implications and the cultural influences that I've had in my life around money and wealth and abundance and being a female who is living out her dream job right now and calling in more money so that I can keep doing this work. So maybe this is something you can relate to. The first lines, I'm just going to read them. You're a rich girl and you've gone too far because you know it didn't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. And it was at that point when I said, no way, I am shutting this off. And I went to my phone and I asked ChatGPT, what does this song mean? I've been listening to this multiple times in my life, and I've never asked, what does this mean? And so the words and the messages we've received in our lives, they really do matter. And it matters what we think about them. And it matters for us to slow down and pause enough to reflect on what is it that we believe about ourselves, about money, about where money comes from, about who's worthy of receiving money. It matters how we have money. It matters what we believe we're allowed to do with it. And it matters when we've been told, consciously or not, that having too much makes us disconnected, makes us unfeeling, makes us deserving, makes us ungrateful. This episode for me isn't about a song. It's about what I've absorbed and what we're finally ready to release. I was born in 1975, and like so many women raised during this time, I absorbed the belief that men were the providers. Women were the caretakers, the nurturers, the givers. Now, mind you, my mom worked my whole life, and yet I still absorbed this belief. And at one point in our life, she became the primary income generator for our family, and yet it stayed. So here I am. I'm living this out. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about what is my relationship to money. You know, honestly, I haven't really put a lot of thought into it over my life, but I do know that there is a relationship there, or lack of one, or a misunderstanding about money. I lived out this belief that women are caretakers. I stayed home with our kids. I gave my time, my heart, my energy, and so much of me to supporting them, to also believing that wasn't even enough. So I had to always be doing something more, and to supporting everyone else around me. But I wasn't paid for that. And even when I was surrounded by abundance, I didn't feel like it belonged to me. That line, you can rely on the old man's money, that lyric rings true for me. This limiting belief I have that money comes into homes, into my home, through a male provider. Now, I know logically that isn't how it always is. I know logically that isn't even how it was in my own family for part of my life. But I've internalized this belief that I will never make more money than my husband. And I'm letting that go. I am now imagining that I am going to be the one to make more than my husband. I want to be the one who earns enough so that he can choose to rest at this point in his life. And while it's not true yet, it's where I'm headed. It's what's shifting. It's not just in my business, but in my beliefs. I'm beginning to see myself not as just someone who's supported, but as someone who channels support. For others, I'm beginning to see myself as someone who offers support to others and also receives support for me. That can be emotional support. That can be financial support. Whatever it is, I'm open to receive in a way that I haven't been before. I was coaching with someone just today who said a realization for her was that the world doesn't fall apart when I put myself first. And isn't that true? Nothing breaks when I receive. Everything expands. The more I receive, the more I expand, the more I can generate and give and celebrate and live and enjoy the world around me. Just because something flows easily doesn't mean it's free. Just because I've always been a giver doesn't mean I can't also be paid well. And just because I didn't feel like I was a person within our family who could bring in money doesn't mean that I'm not stepping fully into it now. This isn't just a mindset shift for me. This is a new identity. And I'm not afraid of being seen as the quote, rich girl, because I know that as I receive more, I also will give more. I will also have opportunities to connect more with people and uplift and empower and coach. And I see how money helps us travel and allows our children to have a beautiful life. And sometimes we talk about, wow, we have so much privilege in our life in a guilty way. Well, it's not fair for me to have this and knowing that there's other people in the world who don't have as much. But that's not the way I'm going to live from now on. I'm going to receive and I'm going to accept and I'm going to know that just because I have something or I receive something doesn't mean that the next person won't. There's enough for all of us. I know this journey I've been on. I know what I've healed and I know what I've given up by believing that I wasn't worthy of being paid well, or I haven't been worthy of love and receiving. And I'm going to use what I receive to serve, to create, to expand. So I want to leave you with this. What were you told directly, or maybe it's part of your subconscious, about people who have money? Did you internalize the idea that ease is suspicious? We should have judgment towards other people who have money? That support has to come from someone else? That wanting more makes you ungrateful? Well, what if it's the opposite? What if receiving is an act of courage? What if it's you saying, I'm enough? I'm worthy of receiving. What if being well-resourced is what lets you show up even more powerfully than you already are? What if you are the channel for money to come to in your family? You don't have to shrink to be good. You don't have to hide your wealth to be worthy. And you don't have to apologize for wanting to be one who earns, creates, and leads. You get to dream, you get to receive, and it does matter. Thank you for being here with me today. If you're ready to step into your own expansion, I would love to support you. You can find me at jillvin.com or on Instagram at jillvin. Until next time, honor your truth, hold your vision, and remember, you are meant for more.